Hi, hello, hoo, ha, ha, hi, hello, hoo, ha, 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 hi, hello, hoo, ha, 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 hi, hello, hoo, ha, ha, ha. What's up? It's Sunday night. It's an hour earlier than it would be if things weren't all daylight savvy. It's an hour later than it would be, actually, if you want to get right up in and correct about it. If you want to be cragged about it. Daylight savings jumped us forward in time for no reason, just so I had less sleep, is the truth. You know what the truth is? Everybody wants to know how close me and Snoop are, and who I'm still cool car. Lar. I don't remember that song. That's that one that's like blong 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 blong. You forgot about Dre, I think. Oh man, that sucked. I did not think I would get hit there. Anyway, how are you doing, Ghost? Good, I hopest. This weekend was a weird one. It was kind of slow, kind of busy, kind of both, but it was definitely not lucrative. This is one of the worst weeks I've had at work in a long time. It's also the first week that I went back to just my regular, 6 shifts instead of having picked up a shift. And it also turned out to be like the worst one in weeks and weeks and weeks. The coronavirus panic is still, in high gear. A lot of like downtown Seattle shut down. It's not shut down, but it's like people aren't doing shit. We actually got kind of busy towards the end of the night, but it was a very strange crowd. It was like I didn't have like any of my regulars really. It was mostly a lot of first timers and a lot of drinkers. We don't get a ton of drinkers where I work, so I ended up making a ton of drinks, but there weren't a lot of people in the bar because that's kind of how it goes. Where the place I work is more of a family style restaurant with not big portions, but like I guess kind of big portions, but like it's not like you're getting a fat stack of hamburger or whatever. It's just shooting right at the water barrel. You're not getting like a huge amount of food per dollar or whatever, but like it's meant to be shared is basically the gist of it. I can use both of my blanks because I already found the secret. So let's just do this. I would like for some keys to drop so I can... Because I'll probably end up buying the other one. I just realized I have this microphone arm kind of blocking my vision a little bit. But fortunately we're against the... this is the boss best suited. Well, maybe it's better for... What's her name? The convict. Anyway, either of the female characters are great against this boss. I think the convict is probably best against all the first floor bosses, just because she has so much more in the way of natural aggression. So many more ways to deal damage. This is the one that's most frustrating with the convict, though, because you have your alternate damage. God damn. And it's just useless against him. Buy this. We still got like 60 casings. I'm gonna do the thing that I would always do in this situation. I'm gonna go for that. Wasn't what I was looking for. is a single-use active item. That is not what I was hoping for. So we're just gonna move along a little doggy. This would have been another gun. That's all right. We're at an early enough point that getting another gun is not super like necessary. Oh, my Canucks. My K Knuckles. The Echidna. Boom, boom, boom. 1, 2, 3. There we go. But yeah, this work week was weird. My work weekend's on Sunday, and then I have the next couple days off. We're gonna start Pandemic Season 2, which everybody's already made the joke with, you know, everybody's freaking about coronavirus. You're playing a game about a pandemic taking over the world. I just want to say, we've been playing this game since September. Corona's not even that old. I think it started maybe in December. People started mentioning it. It didn't get to the point of being having its own fucking fan subreddit or whatever. I really got to say, I think that subreddit is a problem. It is stoking the flames of panic to a severe degree. Probably if you're like logging on specifically to look at the coronavirus subreddit, you're already a little bit stoked in terms of the flames of panic. But even still, it's very problematic to have a subreddit. It's like I looked at it the other day and it was like, I think that all theme parks should be shut down for the entire time that the coronavirus is a problem. It's such a place where a lot of people get together and diseases can spread so easily, and it's like, these are people who want to see bedlam and chaos. They want to see the world like pulling out its own hair. They want nothing more than to be in the midst of, like, you know, a doomsday preppers kind of situation, and it's really frustrating to see, and it's frustrating especially because there's so many people who are like suckered into that. Elon Musk recently tweeted that the coronavirus panic is dumb. He said this for a number of reasons. The least of which is not that Tesla stock is kind of is not free falling, but is dropping pretty dramatically when it had been on like months and months of upward trend. It's causing issues with supply chains and stuff like that. Events are shutting down all over the world. Like, it's being treated as though it's a foregone conclusion that coronavirus is humanity's death knell. And I straight up agree with him that the coronavirus panic is dumb. Musk is pretty good at like capitalizing on his presence as a Twitter blurb maker. He says these things and it draws a bunch of attention to it, but I think the overarching hope of him saying these stupid things is a lot of times just to get people to think about the situation. Sometimes it's like, you know, he's really shot himself in the freaking foot with some of his comments. The whole thing about the diver, you know, calling him pedo man or whatever, the diver that saved the kid in India or Thailand or wherever, that was all fucked up. It was all fucked up and weird. And, you know, no one should forgive Musk for being a fucking crazy in that regard. But the coronavirus panic is dumb thing, yeah, I mean, he's right on. People are overreacting. Like, people are not buying Corona beer. People are boycotting Chinese food, which is my job. Like, they don't realize that Chinese food is not a carrier of coronavirus, especially not Chinese food made in the US from mostly local ingredients. Like, it's fucking insane. But, you know, there's always a rallying cry against what Elon Musk says. And people are like, well, you know, Elon Musk's statement that the coronavirus panic is dumb is the dumb thing. Oh, talk about a pox. Talk about a pox. You know, people are going to coattail. People are going to be like, if Elon Musk says something, the opposite is where I stand. Dang. That's a good misfortune right there. If Elon Musk says this is dumb, but I'm going to be on the side of whatever the opposite of what he said is, you know, it's like Musk bashing is a platform, and I get it. I know that people think the same thing about Trump bashing. I get it. You know, Elon Musk says some dumb shit, and it is very fair to say that he gets off on being an idiot sometimes, on being like the loudest voice more so than the rightest one. He does. Devolver has a bunch of good synergies. I might buy Devolver just for its synergy. It has a synergy with like Gungeon. Heavy Bullets is one. Serious Sam, alongside the Cannonball, Serious Sam finds a screaming beheaded kamikaze who chases enemies and explodes on contact. Contractual obligation if the player has Gungeon, a pool of oil spawns in. I mean, Cool Kids Club, Strafe Gun. Continually moving with the straight gun as the player, Yellow Glowing, increasing movement speed, going to spears. Yeah. We're going to buy a Devolver and then probably... Ooh, wait. Yeah. Probably, like, never use it as a gun. Or burn through it quickly and then, you know, return to never using it as a gun. But I'm kind of bummed about losing that room now. Because that could have given us something to pair with the Devolver. A Devolver pair. So yeah, while I do think that people should be concerned with COVID-19 corona, I do not think that the panic is justified. I don't at all think that it makes sense for people to be pulling their hair out over this thing. Not yet, and maybe not ever. Like, I do hope that, you know, a vaccine is on the way, and it seems like there is. It seems like there is, or will gonna be, but until then, we just gotta like. Oh man. We just gotta stick with best basic practices, like you kind of always should. Like, I'm getting texts from my mom that's like, make sure you wash your hands, and I'm like, yeah, I know. I serve people food and drinks. Of course I won't wash my hands. Like, do you think I was planning on not doing that until this disease came along? And that's I think, oh god, wow, that was fast. That I think is what's most frustrating for me, and probably for a bunch of other people, is that people are treating the situation like common sense is out the window. People are buying up toilet paper. Like, people are buying up all the bottled water. I think people think they're going to have to lock themselves in their homes because stepping outside the door is going to infect them.
I got my Stitch Fix box.
What?
My box from the personal stylist.
Oh, okay. What?
Sounds so good.
Oh, okay.
Because shirt I kind of like, but it's like boring.
You're really supposed to wear it with stuff.
They sent me this like cardigan with like zippers going up the sides, but no closure in the front.
Can you try out the knock-in thing?
Huh?
Can you try out the knock-in thing?
You like that?
What?
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Okay.
It's okay. But yeah, I don't know. Like, people's behavior, the stock market plummeting, whatever, you know. It's time. Like, I was saying there's a lot of memes like, you know, millennials waiting for the coronavirus to run its course so they can finally buy a house. Like, shit's gotten real bad in the world when it's gonna take, you know, a terrible situation like this for maybe things to be all right financially. Oh, my pits. My stinky little pits. I don't want people to behave as if it's like wish fulfillment, right? Like, everybody knows someone that has been stockpiling Costco stuff for months, for years. Everybody knows at least one person that's like been about this since well before coronavirus had a name. Back when it was just, it could be anything. It could be the government taking our guns. It could be whatever. They're just stockpiling. And finally, this is a new, great excuse. And I really feel like genuine fear for the people that are just like ready to stoke the flames, because this has been, you know, their secret kink for the longest time. And now it's finally coming true. Oh, fuck. Well. You know, I hope it's understandable what I'm saying. Like, I don't think that the coronavirus is like a government plot to like sow fear or anything like that. Dang. But I also don't, there are people, there are individuals that I think adore the idea of worldwide panic. Where the fuck? Okay. And this has given them so much to latch onto, you know? And I just don't, I don't want to promote any of that. So yeah, panic is dumb. Concern? Great. Panic? Dumb. Hopefully people will see that that's the actual point they were trying to make. Musk was trying to make. And maybe not. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Musk was just like, if you give a shit about diseases at all, you're an idiot. No, I don't have ice in my veins. I'm a little nervous. Can't believe this guy didn't give us a single actual regular treasure chest. Whoa, dude. Yes. After I've turned it in, you guys can shoot me, you know, once if you want. Not all. I was gonna say as much as you want, but like, I still don't want to die. Jackie started watching Children of Men. I kind of popped in for a little bit. I think it's a great movie. It's a Clive Owen sci-fi. I think director is Birdman and The Revenant and stuff like that. It's got a lot of long shots, long continual shots. Kind of known for that. Oh, man. Okay. Cool idea. It's kind of a end of the world scenario. It's sorry, it's hard to think when I'm doing this. Stupid boss. Basically, people have stopped getting pregnant. 18 years have gone by since the last human birth. And in that time, people have assumed that it's the end of, mankind's run on the planet. And I would probably agree with them if I was in that situation. Fuck, dude! Because, that's scary. That's what we get. A different poison. I'm gonna have to find some way to... Oh, I was gonna say we were gonna have to find some way to poison ourselves. But... I might have already found it. Yeah, like, so Children of Men falls more in line with the concept of, like, Seven Eves. Humanity knows that it's doomed. And in knowing that, the question is, how does humanity deal with it? In the movie, in a lot of ways, there's just, like, fear response. People are like... there's a lot of hate towards immigrants or something like that. There's a lot of, like, not just xenophobia, but, like, open-faced bigotry. Dude, I shouldn't have bought more stuff before I did this. I need the gungeon. So we got a super serum, right? One of these days I'm going to learn to take fewer items to what's her name. Anyway, let's keep going. We'll probably burn through the devolver. We got 2 ways to turn out fuses now. I wonder if that gets the crazy damage bonus that, what's it called? It's getting the water thing, water bouncy bullets, because that was cool that time I finished that run using it. Oh, cool. You do 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 do. Do 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 do. Yeah, I don't know. 7 Eves, I'm going to go ahead and just give away something about the book that I haven't given away. I don't think yet on this, because I really want people to read it more than probably any other book I've read. But 7 Eves, the beginning of the book, the moon explodes. It separates into distinct chunks. 7 to be exact. That's not what the 7 Eves comes from. But you'd think. But eventually they realize that, those collisions are going to keep happening, and eventually it's going to create a meteor shower of, like, ungodly proportions, and eventually that'll take out life as we know it. And that's a pretty cool basis for what is a very terrible situation. Dang, dude. That bullet was invisible. And that whole, you know, Neil Stephenson spends a lot of the time of that book describing how people are dealing with it, both people in the International Space Station, where a lot of the book takes place, and people on Earth. And it's pretty cool, the different ways he approaches that idea of, like, you know, complete mortality. Like, not just individual mortality, which is something we all have to deal with at some point or another, but the idea of total mortality of 100% of the population of the planet ceasing to be. It's very different. You know, you might have a... what was that Queen Latifah movie where she thought she was going to die? You might have a bucket list kind of situation if it's just you, but what happens when it's all things? What happens when the idea of existing as a species is basically put to the question, you know? In Seven Eves, what they do is they plan to keep the genetic history of humanity and of certain animal species and plants and stuff stored both in digital and actual samples on the International Space Station, and build a bunch of essentially like flying mini satellites to keep people alive in space. Dude, these fucking guns are gonna be terrible. And the hope in Seven Eves is that they can find a way to make that last forever. In Children of Men, there is no hope, because basically the entire human race has lost the ability to procreate. So the only hope that people have is... I did it wrong. I did so much of that wrong. The only hope that people have is to live out their own lives for as long as they can, and maybe find a cure. But that's kind of like 18 years is long enough to give up on that particular hope, I think, is one of the points the movie tries to make. That's an entire adult lifespan, or entire lifespan from birth to, like, technical adulthood. Jeez, man. This United States adulthood. Oh boy. It's gonna be time to start using blanks soon. God damn, dude. I don't feel like I have a lot of options to speed this one up. I'm using up like all of my fucking ammo. Got 4 hearts, so we've already lost more than we'll recover. What the fuck? That was one of the worst Fox. One of the worst old kings. It's not even close to a Fox of all time. Hey, nice. Some health would have been real neat. I'm gonna use it because I sold him the Gungeon. That synergy is just with armor. AC 10. AC 15. Increased fire rate and shot speed, huh? Something to use until we get hit pretty soon. I do like that the game kind of saw just how bad we had it and decided to throw me a fucking bone. Back to full. Time to, please, for the love of God, hand me some, goddamn straight up keys? What's this one? Really? I spent money on the Devolver. I'm not dropping it. Not right away, at least. Dang, dude. Fast. That was probably the worst direction for that one. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of like... So I think... Sometimes I think about why I like reading books about, you know, the World War II period. I don't really like the time itself. I don't like the idea of Earth in the 30s and 40s, because Earth in the 30s and 40s was still fucking awful and extremely racist and just fueled by various hatreds. It was still, you know, the darkest, some of the darkest times of humanity, and that's what led to World War II. But I like the idea of, I mean, I don't like it like, I'm not looking forward to it, but it's interesting in a distant and kind of fictionalized setting to think about something complete happening to humanity. And I think the problem that a lot of people have is that they want that for reals. They want that to exist for us right now, human beings. Like, and that's really shitty. Like, that's a really shitty feeling to want. That's a really shitty... I don't have enough guns to get rid of. But that's a really shitty desire to have for humanity to actually be going through some kind of ultimate test. Because there's real lives on the line. And there were... I understand that there were during... There were actual lives on the line during... Oh my God. During the Second World War. Now that wasn't like, you know, make-believe or whatever back then. But it is a historical event. And it's a little harder for me to... I don't know, you kind of put yourself in your shoes. The shoes of people as characters instead of people as people, which is fucked up. I get it. The more I'm talking about it, the more I realize that it's actually fucked up to kind of like romanticize the period of greatest human strife for exactly the reason that I'm finding fault with people who are like doomsday preppers and who are just excited about what's going on potentially with COVID-19. Thank God. But, you know what I mean. I'm not excited about any kind of actual human destruction or loss. And I think you're a messed up monster if you do feel that way. And you should be fucking ashamed of yourself. But you know, I just want the whole thing to pass. I want us to go back to being a species that is more or less dealing with the regular stresses of existence instead of adding in this new insanity. Because we were having a hard enough time already, as was. And I don't think we really needed the extra wrinkle. What? The dog found something. Okay. I have a water weapon and flight, both of which are just in case. And I really hope I get to use both of them for their just-in-case purposes. Ah, so close. Ooh, back off, bucko. I feel like I've had this synergy for a number of runs. Not synergy, this combination. I like it. It's not my maybe it is my favorite, like, fire and poison combo, the red and green. I mean, I love both of these weapons. And I love both of them knowing that they're not, you know, the best. You saw that fucking fight. We know these aren't the best. Man, Yari really does take... You've got to be kidding me. Yari totally does take something else in order to be great. I will use it all the way up, though. Fuck off, dudes. What? This game is kind of a motherfucker right now. Like, how the hell did I get the honeycomb out of that? Is it because I got an S-rank item on the last floor? An S-rank gun? They decided to give me like an F-rank passive? Yo! Ugh. Boop, 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 boop. What else has happened? Weird work week. Talk about coronavirus. I watched a... I don't want to say documentary, like a YouTube video about the development and genesis of Final Fantasy XI. It was suggested on my YouTube feed or whatever you call it. I think it's a feed. And I really, like, I should happily never think about Final Fantasy XI ever again. It is a game that consumed many of my years on this planet. And not for the better. There was some good fun. I was closest to one of my college friends because of that game. But, kind of messed up my college experience to a significant degree. Not completely. It's not like, you know, I threw away my time in school or anything. But what can I get rid of? This, I guess? I don't have any guns I want to stick together. I do have guns that I want to turn into money when I'm already 100 air. 2 blue chests, huh? I could sell this right now. Can you please, like, just give me a secret room? That's not what I meant. I meant an extremely good secret room. God, you know that. Alright, well. I wonder how many times I've touched my face. That's another thing that everybody's talking about. You're not supposed to touch your face. They bring that up. They tell you you're not supposed to touch your face. And then guess what? That's all you know how to do. It's the only skill you have as an adult. Is touching your own face. Thank you. Taken a while to realize that the only skill I've developed in my entire 34, almost 35 years is the ability to touch my own face. And I can't fucking stop. It feels too good. Yari. He's never gonna catch me. If he does, I'm fucked. These guys are the reason to have a different gun equipped. You see how fucking smooth and fast I was at de-equipping, doffing the jetpack? Oh, by the way, neither of my my ideal, desired situations have popped up yet. We're getting to the point where the black market in a Winchester's game are pretty much impossible. Yes, technically they can happen on the Forge. Chances are slimmer than Shady or Fat Boy. How come that guy's poison or how come you can get that guy on fire? He's made out of wet. Do they think that ice is not wet? Okay, it's... We gotta have something else. I don't know what we're gonna do. I mean, with this boss, we're gonna Yari launch, but like... That's not gonna kill this boss. God, it is run! I made a mistake there that I make pretty often in rooms like that. I didn't look where the exit was. I also made the mistake of making it all the way across and then getting hit by a very easily dodgeable bullet once the challenge was gone. What if she's still watching? Still watching Children of Men. You know how I recognize she was watching Children of Men by the, like, one of the first sound cues, and it was like the name Baby Diego or something like that. And it's weird that I was able to pick it up from that, because that's like gone in the first. I mean, it's like one of the first lines of the movie, but it's over so quickly that it's kind of surprising that it stuck with me. But I can't tell where she is now in the movie. Oh, cool. Alright, that's fine. Man, it just sounded like a Final Fantasy 14 boss. Get out of my face. Okay, please have ammo. Let's go south. Let's fight the boss before we do any more. Let's do as few rooms as possible. Oh god, I don't have any armor. I know what to do here. Wait till he barfs, go to the middle with flight. Well, that's a good room clearer. And it kind of gets... Okay, so now we got our room clears. We still have fire and poison now. And one of them does a big old damage. I wonder if there's like anybody in the world who has... I mean, I think there's some people who maybe have really like rose tinted glasses or whatever, and they really believe that like the time they spent with Final Fantasy XI was purely positive. But like it was a game. Even in this this video I watched, they talked about how, you know, some of the design elements were pretty intentional, like the punishment for death being brutal, the severe amount of like setbacks you can suffer from basic things, like the fact that you needed a team for any real content past level 10, except for Beastmaster, which they added, you know, later in the game. That's right here. Okay, well, perfect time for this. It's not the perfect time. That was sarcasm. I want money, but I don't know what to get rid of. Well, that was a good start. Nah. Yeah, we can get rid of both of these. AC-10 and Void Core Assault Rifle both suck, even with the synergy between the two of them. Okay, now we're good. Let's scoot! Let's ski-daddle. Alright. No Winchester's game. No Black Market. It's not rare to have a run with neither of those. No Devolver Synergy either. That's another crumb. It's another R crumb bummer. It's not even from the Master of Unlocking. Yeah, she's definitely still watching it. There's a little baby screaming. There's only one movie in the world that has a little baby screaming in it. And that movie is Children of Baby Screaming. Right. Huh. That's one way to dodge it. One terrible, stupid way. I can't believe my response to that was, ha! After I, sacrificed Hull. I mean, that wasn't intentional. I'm glad I didn't have both happen. We're gonna get a Winchester's game. Guaranteed. Fucking hell. There's like a 1,000% chance we're gonna get a Winchester's game now. Dude. I'm playing like garbage. I'm playing like wet, hot, sloppy garbage. And it's not just because we're in the forge. It's because we're going to get a Winchester's game. Oops. Okay. Okay. How do we have an extra blank? There's a good googly moogly chance that we're going to buy that. I do need to see what's offered in the normal mode shop. And I have to stop thinking that I can fly at the press of a button. It's a dangerous thought to be holding. You know, I could also just get that fucking thing, because we got 0 curse. So this guy's guaranteed jammed? Huh. Let's see how much that thing is again. And we're gonna have to walk all the way back here. So we're got 104. Plus 56 is 160. Plus 56. So 112 plus 104 is 216. Is all we need. I would love to stop jumping into enemy bullets. I'm not doing this like fast enough or something. I was really like wanting the clone. I really wanted the clone. The hesitation I had was not... The hesitation was me getting like... giving myself a little bit of hype about a clone and knowing that I was stupid to feel that way. Hey. Hey. Making a lot less money than I should. By doing stupid damage all the fucking time. $216, almost there. Oh man. Every time I watch Children of Men, there's something that they predicted about the future that seems silly to me because of how they got it wrong. There's a lot that I think they got incredibly right. We actually looked up when the movie was made. It was made in 2007, which I also looked up when the first iPhone was released because, you know, in the movie nobody's using a phone, and you can explain away stuff like that pretty easily a lot of the time. Oh, riddle of lead negated damage. By being like, you know, people went on strike, you know, working at telecoms or whatever, so there's no communication. They do talk at one point about how hard it would be to get a message out. But they also still have like TV news thing. And stuff like that, so it's kind of like, yeah, maybe, but you know what I'd like to do? I hate that. I fucking hate that. So, new plan. Is the rat gonna come? Okay, so double new plan. New plan, number 1, part 1. Leave that there. 2, buy that. Plan the second, buy the other 2 things in here. And be at exactly 0. Okay, so we'll get our ammo back there. Still have no bullet modifiers, so we can get this down to 70 and still be alright. It's 20 a clip, I think. So we're at 100. Yeah. Okay. That's all of them. Oh, that'll actually, that'll be fine. Ugh. Yuck. Yuckola. There we go. That's a lead god. That's a good, clean lead god. With some crap guns for a lot of it. With mostly crap guns, I think. For all of it. Why didn't I open the thing? Because I like was nervous that it was gonna make the rat pop up. Oh, neat. Okay, that's actually neat. Now we're like out of money basically, so we get the fuck out of here. Doodle-doo-doo-doo-doo, touching my face, Corona. Can't fucking stop touching my face. Corona is going away. Why hasn't anybody done a Daytona 500 Weird Al style cover? You do that. Yeah, someone already, I think, suggested the My Corona thing, and he was like, "No, thanks, man. I don't make light of human misery. I'm big on you, Weird W-Al." Alright, this is a slow and tedious slog right now. Slow and tedious slog. I'm not even looking at enemy bullets. For shit's sake. Alright, ammo's gonna be less than useful. I was hoping that I wouldn't need that benefit, but here we are. That's one of the ones that's so good to have it, but like, ideal situation is you never need it. Scoot! Keep scooting! And explode him. Explode him, I hardly know him. Explode him, I hardly scrotum. Daytona, let's go away. I don't know, man. You know, the whole thing seems... It doesn't seem like... Okay. I'm trying not to bring up Birdie too much, man. But like... Because, you know, I've said my piece, and it's exactly how I feel, and I don't think I'm going to feel any differently to even 1 degree or iota at any point ever. But how is this not a perfect example of the importance of universal healthcare? How is this not pulling people out of their beds at night to, like, Go fucking vote for Bernie. I just don't get it. How can anybody still be on the side of like things are working as is when you can't get a fucking test in the United States to see if you have the coronavirus? You can't even figure out if you fucking have the thing without paying an arm and a leg. And of course it's not covered by insurance at the moment because it's new. Why would they have coverage for that? It wouldn't benefit them financially. Like, every modern nation, fuck, should have stipulations in place for what to do if pandemic. Like, but instead, people are still trying to make a buck out of this. Like, I think the panic is not necessarily the best way to handle this, but if anybody's panicked, why the fuck are they not then saying like, oh man, we should have systems in place to cover for this? Like, we should have a way that if I got corona, I don't go into debt or continue working or etc. etc. Like, they're already talking about, like, at my at Jackie's job, if someone gets a case of it there where she works, they're shutting down for 2 months. They're shutting the stores of the restaurant where she works for 2 months. That is per the owner. There's no debating that. There's no quarantining the individual. It's just the whole thing is shut down because of, you know, the heightened levels of panic. Like, everybody that works at the company loses a job for 2 months. They don't have a way to make ends meet. Nobody there has paid sick leave because it's a service job, and nobody at service jobs gets paid sick leave except for managers. The owner would be all right. She's got millions of dollars. But every other employee is basically just done for financially, you know? Like, Jackie will be all right. She started working where I work a few days a week, and we can probably get her to pick up some more shifts. But, like, that's what we're thinking about. We're thinking about how we can pick up some more shifts while this is going on, instead of thinking about how we can avoid situations that could exacerbate the problem. And that's everyone worldwide. Yo, dude, what are you doing up? And here I am, fingers to face once again. Punch me. You fucking coward shit. Born with your hand in the wall, huh? If I was like writing a story and I wanted people to think this is how I impart on people the importance of, this is like an Ozymandias situation in what's it called? Watchmen. You know, make a common enemy so that people have something greater to work against to get over their differences. And that one, it was nuclear conflict between communism and Americanism, between the USSR and the USA. And you had to make an outside force point people to do the right thing instead of being at each other's throats. Coronavirus should be a perfect foil. It should be a perfect you know, supervillain to bring people together to see the light, the need for organized free access to healthcare. You'd think that like people would just be shitting their pants saying, where's our healthcare? Why isn't the government doing something about this? But like the Republicans have done such a good job of convincing people that, you know, treating your I want to say, I keep almost saying subjects, but what I mean is your citizens with a modicum of decency, treating them as if they're living human beings and not, I don't know what, not delegates, is like, not constituents. It's just insane. The whole thing is fucking insane. Oops. I don't think he can be immolated. I'm just going to try to burn through this thing. I'm not going to worry about which shot is doing what. It has very good accuracy right now. Damage isn't the worst either. That was actually really good. I'm gonna save Yari for phase 3. Oh, my face! Yeah, face touching counter going on. Jesus. Calling it there for that one. Blanket. Alright, not at 45 degrees, like 20 degrees. You know what? I'm gonna wait until this wears off, and then I'm blanking. I'm burning this Yari till his death. LGLF with like an anti-FOK. Oh, 3-2-2. What did I hit? I didn't mean to hit that. 3-2-2. Oh, well, wham a lot. That's it.